In this session, we are going to configure HA and DRS. What are the different options are going to come into picture while configuring the HA and DRS? What exactly HA? We know that HA is a reactive approach. DRS we can consider as a proactive approach. What HA? HA means why reactive approach. Within a cluster, the HA and DRS, the concepts comes in on a cluster. Okay, we are not going to get an option on a data center or a vCenter server or any object. This HA and DRS concept comes in only for cluster. If you select a cluster and right click, and then we are going to configure an HA and DRS. So if you are working for a cluster, a group of ESXi host, why we need to configure a cluster? If you want to manage a load balancing, between what load balancing here? Load balancing is nothing but here we can consider as a VMs. What application here we are going to talk about in virtualization layer? VMs. If one ESXi was within a cluster having more load, more utilization, more load in the sense, more utilization of CPU and memory, that's the resources we are going to talk about here. If the CPU and memory, either one, if it is utilizing high, then the DRS is going to check within a cluster, is there any other ESXi host is less utilized? Then it is going to take a call to migrate the VM from one ESXi host to another ESXi host. This is going to be a live migration. We already know that what is required, prerequisite is what are the components are required to perform a live migration, what is offline migration. Okay, so what is HA? HA in the sense if any host failure for any reason, it could be anything. Okay, to function HA properly, what again we need to, before configuring the cluster itself, whether it is HA or DRS, whatever it may be, before configuring the cluster, we need to make sure certain components. We already discussed in previous sessions what are the components are required, what are the settings is required on respective ESXi host to work this particular cluster. We did all manual migration. Okay, so before creating a cluster, what is important at ESXi host level? It would be better having a same hardware model. If at least if same hardware model is not available, we need to make sure whatever the hosts are participating in the cluster, we need to make sure that clusters are configured with same family of CPU at least. Same family of CPU. It could be different family, different models, either IBM, either HP, or whatever it may be. But at least there should be a common factor, that is CPU family, Intel Xeon processors or AMD. If cluster you are going to create with AMD ESXi host, make sure the cluster is configured with all hosts having AMD processors. You should not configure a cluster adding a host to the cluster with a different CPU families altogether. That in the sense, AMD and Intel processor cannot be part of cluster. Second thing is that the CPU family, for each model, there are different families are available. CPU Xeon, different models are available. So we have to go through each accept of before configuring the cluster. Because why we are configuring cluster? HA and DRS. Okay. So why HA? If any ESXi host within the cluster having some trouble, like some hardware issue, what will happen if that ESXi host down? Whatever the VMs are running on that ESXi host, we are going to see the downtime on respective ESXi VM, because ESXi host is not a single server. There are multiple servers are going to run. There are multiple servers are hosted. So we need to make sure high availability of the respective virtual machines, because if because of hardware problem, it could be network issue, it could be hard disk issue, whatever issue. If The ESXi host down means there are multiple servers are running on the same ESXi host. If that ESXi host is down, all servers which are hosted on that ESXi host will be down. So I need to make sure at least I need to reduce the downtime. I need to reduce the downtime. Reduce the downtime in the sense the ESXi host might be having hardware issue, but VMs should run on other ESXi hosts without any issue. So how to achieve, how to configure, and all those things we are going to see HA and DRS. So HA is a reactive approach, DRS is a proactive approach. Without impacting the resources in DRS, VMs will migrate from one ESXi host to another ESXi host. If the utilization is very high on each ESXi host, it sometimes it may go down because of resource crunch. To avoid that, proactively identify which VM is causing high utilization. That VM will trigger automatic migration from one ESXi host to another ESXi host. That is DRS. Let's go and see what are the features on HA and DRS. Right click on the cluster. This cluster and DRS is only available on a cluster. You are not going to set configure settings on any object, this HA and DRS. You can configure HA DRS only on a cluster. So you need to make sure create a cluster, add ESXi host, and then go ahead and configure. So right click on the cluster, go edit settings. Click on edit settings, maximize the window. Okay, no problem. So here the cluster features, what is the cluster features, what how to do, and all those things we are going to see that. Okay. See, turn on vSphere HA. Currently, without enabling the HA feature, what we are going to see here, cluster feature one heading and VMware EVC. What is the VMware EVC? It enhance vMotion compatibility. If you are running different, CPU families within Intel or within AMD, different CPU models, then you have to go and configure VMware EVC. Before configuring, before adding ESXi host, you need to make sure that CPU model, both whatever existing ESXi host and this, but whatever the ESXi host, different model CPU family you are going to add, you need to make sure is it compatible under EVC or not. If it is not compatible, adding a host to the cluster is meaningless. The VMs cannot migrate. Okay, if the host is down, we can restart the VMs, but DRS is not going to function. So make sure you need to create a cluster with the same CPU family, that is Intel or AMD. In addition to that, preferable is same model. Later times you are going to add a different ESXi host. During that time, the same model may not be available. At least you need to choose the compatible CPU model for existing CPU models. There are EVC compatible models are there, 5 or 6 models are there. You need to cross check. Okay, there is a KB article available. Okay, EVC compatibility guide. There you can check HCL hardware compatibility list. Okay, now come back to the topic. So here swap file location by cluster by default swap file location will be the respective virtual machine only. Select VMware EVC, VMware EVC, enhanced vMotion compatibility. Currently it is in disabled state. If you go to enable state, okay, you will see what is the EVC mode. Okay, change EVC mode. There is no option to compatible between AMD and Intel. Okay, you need to make sure either you need to create a cluster with only AMD processor models, or else you need to make sure cluster is configured with Intel processors. Both models is not possible. Okay, in addition to that, what are the different CPU models you are going to use? Those CPU models should be compatible with one particular EVC compatibility available option. Okay, click cancel here. Just go to once again, change the EVC mode, change EVC mode. select Intel EVC, enable EVC Intel, yes. This drop down is available here. If you see here, there are different drop downs models are available. See Intel Meridian generation drop down. There are a couple of 5 or 6 generations are available. It is going to drop down. VMware EVC mode drop down, not here. Yes. These are the model generations are available. These are the compatible between 2 CPU models. According to your requirement, before itself, you can check in a internet's KB article site, compatibility matrix. There you can find what are the CPU models for each generation it's going to support. Okay, click cancel. This is EVC mode. Click on swap file location. By default, it is going to be configured with virtual machine memory only. What is swap file it is going to create? While deploying a VM, while deploying a VM, it is going to create a folder. Without creating a folder, VM deployment is not going to start. While creating a VM, it is going to create a folder and it is going to configure respective files according to our configuration. What is the configuration? What is the CPU? What is the memory? What is the disk and all those things. In addition to that, it is going to create a swap file. Why we need to create a swap file? The swap file is going to work as a virtual memory. Virtual memory in the sense, for example, you are going to configure ESXi host with a 64 GB RAM. Now we are going to deploy multiple VMs on the particular 64 GB ESXi host. Maybe it is crossing 100 GB total VMs allocation. So from where this particular remaining out of 64, remaining 34, 36 GB, from where it is going to come into picture? What it is going to do, it is going to create a swap file and respect to data store virtual machine file, virtual machine folder, swap like for each, what are the virtual memory configured, what are the memory you are going to configure for each VM, equal size of the VM's memory configuration, it is going to create a swap file. For that swap file, by default, it is going to be virtual machine folder only. That is a recommended approach. Okay, we cannot place that virtual machine swap file with other data store, other location. It is going to be create a complex environment. That's a swap file location by default. It should be respect to virtual machine folder. Okay. If the ESXi host is having a high memory, again the ESXi host is going to maintain the swap file, and there's a couple of memory technologies comes into picture. Out of this, one is the pair sharing, balloon technology. There are different memory technology you can understand. There are 3 technologies out there. By basically, it is going to work on balloon, how the balloon technology is going to work. You can understand memory deep drive, memory management deep drive. Okay. Now it is not required. Generally, what we are going to do is whatever the memory is available on ESXi host, we need to make sure the active memory consumption should not cross 80%. Active memory in the sense all ESXi hosts, all whatever the VMs we are going to deploy in ESXi host, it is not going to consume. For example, 64 GB RAM is there on ESXi host. We are going to assign a 100 GB of virtual machine storage for each VM. I configure 10 GB, 10 GB like that. So I configured 100 GB, 10 virtual machines, 10 each 10 GB, 100 GB. While configuring 10 GB for each VM, it is not going to consume entire 10 GB for every second, every fraction of second. The virtualization layer is going to maintain the configuration in such a way that it is a buffering what is required, which application is required. In normal desktop operating system also, the memory technology is going to work in such manner. Virtual memory, it is going to transfer the ideal pages to page in and page out technology. Okay, virtual machine is going to come into picture. The swap file comes in picture in Linux operating system. Page files is the virtual memory in the desktop systems or Windows Server systems. Okay, how the page in and page out is going to happen. Okay, so according to that, it is going to manage. that is a self allocation. Okay, leave the default setting, come back to the cluster feature, cluster features, top objects, right click again, edit settings. Now I'm going to enable, see currently only 3 options are available here in this cluster settings. As soon as I select the checkbox, what it is going to come, what are the different options are going to come, we are going to see. Select HDs, turn on vSphere HA, select the checkbox. As soon as we select the checkbox, the vSphere HA option come into picture. See here, vSphere HA. Select vSphere HA. See here, this is under vSphere HA, what are the options are going to come into picture. Enable host monitoring. By default, enable host monitoring in the sense, this HA, as soon as you enable, it is going to, in an agent is going to install FDM, fault domain manager. One agent is going to install on each ESXi host and it is going to monitor with that particular FDM. So enable host monitoring. What it is going to do in HA cluster, it has a kind of heartbeat. It is going to establish communication established between ESXi host within a cluster. Am I alive? My neighbor is alive or not? There is a kind of mechanism is going to take into place to check neighbor ESXi host live status. Okay, if that ESXi host is not responding, the FDM is going to take a call what action we need to perform on the VMs. Okay, that is enable host monitoring. Next is admission control. What is this admission control? It is going to allow admission control. What is it is going to do is, it is going to check the available resources within the cluster according to the failure capacity. Admission control policy, what are the different options are available here? Host failure cluster tolerate. If I select this particular option, host failure, the cluster tolerance, that in the sense, for example, currently I have only 2 ESXi hosts. I need to configure the cluster in such a way that the resource management, the CPU and memory resources management, how we need to make a calculation is that if one ESXi host is down, it should be sufficient resources on another ESXi host. That in the sense, if I go with this particular option, host failure cluster tolerant is equal to 1, what it is going to do? One host capacity is completely reserved for failure. That in the sense, I can, even if, for example, without enabling HA, I can deploy 80% of resources. I can deploy up until 80% of resource consumption. Those many VMs I can deploy on ESXi1 and ESXi2. If I enable this HA and choose this host tolerant, what I need to make sure, only I can use 50% of the resources on each ESXi host. That in the sense, even if the host down, what will happen? Remaining 50% resources will go and power on another ESXi host. That ESXi host utilization reaches 100%. Okay. So ideally, how it is going to work is maybe 45% resources reservation. It won't allow you to power on VM. If it is crossing the HA admission control, it reaches, for example, I deployed multiple VMs. What are the VMs are running currently, it will run. For example, VM is down, you perform some maintenance activity, you shut down the VM to configure certain things. While powering on the VM, it is going to check this admission control policy. Is the sufficient resources are available or not? Is the sufficient resources are available or not to power on this particular VM? Who is going to check? This FDM is going to check. If it is resources are not available, it's the resources is not maintaining this particular admission control, it will say that sufficient resources are not available to power on. Because earlier without configuring HA, there are plenty of resources are available. Each ESXi host has 100%, so I can power on multiple VMs. As soon as I configure HA, the resource availability is reduced from 100 to 50%. This is a host for tolerant purpose 1. The second option is percentage of resources. Second, I select choose percentage of resources. I can choose this percentage resources. For example, if I select host first option, what it is going to do straight away, one host is going to be put it aside. The resources it is not going to use at all. Generally, in a production environment, live environment, the cluster is going to have maybe 10 or 15 like that. So that I can make it a fault tolerance. Even my cluster should be able to withstand. Even two host failure also can withstand. I can configure that by choosing the first option. As I have here only two ESXi hosts, I cannot go with one more than one, right? If I have 10 or 15 ESXi hosts within my cluster, I can manage high availability because my production cluster, if it is a production service, it is a very critical. I need to maintain a cluster setting such a way that even any host failure, my VMs should not impact, and there should be a less downtime. So that I need to choose more host tolerant. If one host tolerant, that is fine. By default configuration, one host tolerant. If it is a cluster very critical and production loads are running on that, I can make it as 2. What is my making a 2? I'm creating a cluster in such a way that out of 10 ESXi hosts, 2 hosts will be ideal. There won't be any resources going to run. Those 2 ESXi hosts will be ideal as a standby. If any out of 8 ESXi hosts, one is down, these 2 will come into picture. All resources will restart and migrate to this particular ESXi host and power on. That is cluster admission control. The second option is percentage of cluster resource. What it does is this, it is going to reserve the CPU and memory certain percentage. Previously what happens, 50% of resources reserved for the failure capacity. Now I am going to configure percentage of resources. For example, in this current configuration, there are 2 ESXi hosts are available. If I configure 25% CPU, will this tolerate my failure capacity? If I choose 25%, and that in the sense only 25% CPU reserved for failure capacity. In this current scenario, what is the appropriate situation? I need to choose 50% resources. Okay. In previous session, I mentioned one ESX hours completely. Okay. In this scenario, I'm going to mention a percentage. It is your responsibility to configure proper percentage according to the first option. In first option, I'm going to select one standby host. Here, I'm going to choose a percentage. That in the sense, each ESXi host, it is going to manage in such a way that 50, it is not as going to allow only 75% in this current configuration. It allows the utilization until 75% only. After 75%, if I try to power on any VM, it won't allow you to power on. It will throw us an error, sufficient resources are not available. Okay. Third option, specify failure tolerance. I can specify within a cluster, I can specify, click select host, 0 host specified, click edit. I'm going to manually configuring. The first option, what it is going to do, the system it is going to design, which host should I put it in standby mode. Here, I am going to put a manual standby mode. This particular ESXi host should be act as a standby. I can select ESXi host, move the ESXi host here. Select the ESXi host to move this way. So what it is going to do, specify, I'm specifying specific host to act as my failure tolerant. So that if any issue happen within the cluster, this host acts as a standby. So that it is going to manage all resources, what are the resources are available. Those resources will restart on this particular ESXi host. Cancel. Out of which is the best option? It is all depends upon your environment. Okay, for example, any production environment, in live environment, the cluster is going to configure in such a way that equal model, equal model in the same model, like 40 CPUs, 256 GB RAM, or 20 CPUs or 1 TB RAM. Whatever the configuration is there on that model, same configuration will be applicable on whatever the ESXi host you are going to add to the cluster. So that if you maintain the same kind of resources on each ESXi host, this HA feature is going to work in an effective manner. I can choose a specify ESXi host. I can choose system to manage ESXi host, or else I can manage percentage of resources. If I choose percentage of resource, I should aware what is the CPU maintaining as a maintaining one ESXi host or two ESXi host. In this case, what it is going to happen, there is no fixed ESXi host. It is going to maintain on each ESXi host certain percentage. At the same time, you need to make sure which ESXi host, what is the capacity of each ESXi host, and what percentage is appropriate to configure. Otherwise, it is going to be conflict. Okay, so that's the options available in HA. What is this HA? If any ESXi host is going down, the VMs is going to restart on a other within a cluster, other ESXi host. That's the HA. How it is going to manage? FDM fault domain manager is going to come into play. It's an agent. It is going to check the heartbeat, how the heartbeat setting is going to work, and all those things. Okay, this is the admission control. Next, I'm going to go with the percentage just in this case. Just click percentage. Because there is a CPU compatibility problem is there on my ESXi host. Both are not same model. One is Dell server, one is IBM server. Both are different models. And CPU family, luckily it is a part of Intel CPU family, but there are different models. Both models are not compatible for any generation of EVC mode. Okay, I can do migration from one ESXi host to another ESXi host without any issue, but I'm not in a position to do in vice versa. Okay, because of CPU downward compatibility. So this is a feature. Just I'm going to enable 15%. Let's see what is going to happen. 15, make it 15%. I don't have many workloads. Let's make it as 15%. When we need to configure HA, because again memory also 15%. When we need to configure this configuration in the sense according to the criticality of the server's load, VM load running on the respective cluster. Okay, if it is a test environment, there is no downtime, even servers down doesn't make any sense. Then okay, no issues, no need to configure HA. By configuring the HA, what you are going to reserve? You are reserving some resources on ESXi host for failover. If you need a critical loads to run, you need to purchase more hardware. You are keeping one particular server as an ideal situation. Imagine how much cost for each server. Lakhs of rupees. Is that investment, is that trustworthy to configure the cluster? Okay. If I make 50% one out of two hosts, I cannot use one ESXi host for the virtual machine deployment. That in the sense, for failure issue, I manage one ESXi host as ideal position for complete time. You need to understand what is the cost of ESXi host, what is the requirement of this configuration, is it worthwhile for this environment? You need to consider all the things and then configure. Okay, leave this 15%. Now, virtual machine options. Select virtual machine options under vSphere HA. See, these are the cluster settings. What is the cluster setting? By default, cluster settings, it is going to restart. See the first cluster default settings. What is the restart priority? Medium. Drop down there, top down, VM restart priority. Disable, low, medium, high. What is this? All this all about? For example, there is a host failure activity happen. There are different workloads are there. one workload, one VM is very critical for my environment. I can choose only VM basic. Rest all VMs are not required to power on. Okay. What I can do, I can change this priority according to my requirement, either cluster wise or VM wise. Host isolation response. Next one, leave that medium. Host isolation response. What is this host isolation response? Leave power on, power off, shutdown. Once a host is isolated, what action we need to do on the respective VM? Do we need to leave the power on state or power off state or shut down? Once a ESXi host is isolated from the environment, what action we need to do on that respective VM? Do we need to leave that VM as a power on state or power off state or shut down? If you configure wrong configuration here, what will happen? If the ESXi host to do management interface issue, the host is not communicating. It is kind of isolation. As soon as it is isolated, the fault domain manager, what it is going to do, as per the setting, what are the VMs are running? VMs for VMs, there is a separate network we are using. There is an impact for that network. So if I choose the wrong config, for example, power off or shutdown, what will happen? As soon as FDM decides that the host is not in a communication mode, the FDM is going to trigger an event, power off the VMs or shut down the VMs or leave power on state like this. Okay, we are going to leave the default option, come back below. What is the option? I can select individual EM, select individual EM. I can change each VM, leave that default option, come back, select the desktop one. In this case, my desktop one VM is not critical at all. What I can choose, I can change the priority for the virtual machine OS. The top one is for a cluster, the below for virtual machine. I can disable. Click on VM restart priority for a respective virtual machine. Here only. There is a drop down is going to come into picture. Yes. I can select disable. Setting this restart priorities, you can perform turning off FT for this virtual machine. If you disable the FT, there is a fault tolerance option is going to new feature. We are going to discuss about fault tolerance later. Click on yes. If you disable this option, this VM is not going to come under fault tolerance. What is fault tolerance? We'll see. In this environment, my VC is a very critical. My DB server is a very critical. Okay. What I'm going to do is select this cluster setting, drop down that we are vCenter X1 VCC. Not here. Come back. Cluster features. Cluster features. Drop down there. This is a very critical VM for my environment. It could be DB server, it could be anything. So what I'm going to choose here, I'm going to choose in a high because this is a priority in VM. If a ESXi host down, wherever this VC is running, I'm setting this Whisper HA in such a way that this VM is my requirement is high, very critical, important. This server should run. So I'm going to give it a priority. First, this server is going to restart on destination ESXi host. Select high. Like I can choose for what are the servers are required. Is the restart is required if the ESXi host is down? Is this VM need to restart on destination ESXi host within a cluster? I can configure for entire cluster wise or individual VM wise like this. I can disable desktop is not a very critical VM for me. So if ESXi host is down, there is a resource crunch. So I'm going to set the desktop and let it be shutdown state. No need to restart on destination within the cluster. If ESXi host is down, let it down, no issues. Like that I can configure here. This is a VM options, okay? Next one, VM monitoring. It is going to check the VM also how the VM monitoring, okay? We can monitor VM configuration. If we enable this, even it is going to check the VM's connectivity also. But it is not recommended. In special cases, we can configure as per your requirement. Okay. By default, we are not going to configure in live environment. In any production requirement is there, even VM monitoring also is possible. Okay. Next one is default data store heartbeating. Generally, what it is going to do is FDM, it is going to check over the network throughout the management interface. It is going to check the heartbeat over the management interface. For example, due to some issue, management interface is not working, but my VMs are running over the production VM switch. Okay, virtual switch, everything is working fine. There is no downtime for virtual machine. Only my ESXi host is not connecting. But virtual machines are able to communicate. There is no application downtime. But if the network management interface is detected as a failure, what will happen? HA triggers an isolation and it causes the respective VMs to restart without any downtime also. What FDM is going to design, it is going to restart the VMs on a other ESXi host. But there is no impact to the production environment. The VMs are up and running. The only problem with the management interface, that is due to some communication issue, the host is not responding. Because of management issue, if I restart the VMs, what will happen? There is a slight downtime will be there. To avoid that, what we are going to do, data store heartbeat. Data store heartbeat in the sense, what are the data stores available in each ESXi host? What we are going to do, the cluster before configuring cluster, shared data stores will be there. It is an additional cross-check. One of the shared data store, we are going to enable hard waiting. For example, there are shared storage here. These are the shared storage available in my environment. Okay, I'm going to choose one data store as a my hard waiting. Before take a call that host is not responding, it is going to check data store connectivity also. Network management interface might be down, but data store connectivity is there in the sense some communication is there. There is host is not an issue. There is a management issue. My data store is communicating that through data store, the communication is there, both the ESXi host. Then it is going to decide that there is some management issue. No need to restart the VMs. The FDM is not going to restart the VMs. So we can select one, either one. I can choose option, select only from my preferred data store, select one of the cluster data store, select any of the cluster data stores. Select by system, it is going to select. If I choose first option, select only from my preferred data store. I can choose one thing. Select first option. Yes. I can select it's my requirement. I can choose one of the data store work as a data store heartbeat. Select second option. Select any of the cluster data store. Again, it is going to manage by system. Okay. The third option, select any of the cluster data store, taking into account my preferences. The first and last options, according to my requirement. Middle option is system is going to design which data store I need to consider for my data store heartbeat. Okay. Leave that option. Next, come back to this is all features under HA. All these features comes under HA. Now go to cluster features, the top object. Now enable DRS. As soon as you enable DRS, what are the options are going to come into picture? See here, vSphere DRS. Select vSphere DRS. Here, automation level. What is the automation level? For example, there is a load constraints is there on the ESXi host within a cluster. How to act, how to migrate the VM. By default, fully automated. By default, it is fully automated, and below there is a slide bar is there. You can choose conservative, aggressive. Aggressive in the sense even it is going to check even the ESXi host reaches 55% also it considered as a high utilization and take a call to migrate the VM. Conservative in the sense it is going to consume high all resources, maybe utilization until 90% also it is not going to try migration. That is a fully automated. What is the manual? The DRS is not going to take a call. You need to manually migrate the VM. You need to monitor the performance of each ESXi host within a cluster. Select manual. By selecting the each ESXi host, we need to monitor manually to migrate the VM. If any ESXi host high utilization, 95%, okay, we need to check which VM need to migrate, and we need to select the respective VM and migrate to reduce the load. Partially automated in the sense, it is going to prompt you. It is going to provide an indication. Partially automated in the sense, it is going to select the VM. This is the ideal candidate to migrate to another ESXi host. It is going to give a warning, and you have to do manual. That is partial automation. Fully automated in the sense, the system itself, it is going to design in such a way that according to the setting, it is going to design such a way that it is going to check what is the utilization. If it is reaches 100%, for example, 70%, either memory or CPU, it reaches, for example, 70%. It is going to check, oh, this ESXi host is going high utilization. Okay, it will check the VMs. Which VM is the ideal candidate to migrate so that I can reduce the utilization on this particular ESXi host. Not only check that, it is going to check which is the ideal candidate to migrate this particular VM. First, it is going to select the VM, and then it is going to choose the destination. Where is the destination? Which ESXi host is ideal candidate to migrate this VM? So fully automated is the best option to perform a DRS action as per the system. You don't need to check each and every time. You don't need to perform manual automation. Okay. So fully automated is the system itself. It is going to migrate, check the resource utilization, and check the VM, which is high utilization, which is the ideal candidate to migrate. Everything system going to take picture. Okay. This is DRS by default feature. Okay. Go to virtual machine options. I'll come back to this DRS group manager rules and everything. Go to virtual machine options under DRS virtual machine options. Here again, the cluster feature. Select a vCenter server or any DB server. Drop down automation level. Then click on automation level. Here see, if I don't want to migrate this VM. The cluster feature is enabled fully automated. But I don't want to perform this migration at all. Don't need to consider at all. Even ESXi host is running 100% also. Don't migrate me. I can choose this option. I can disable, I can put manual. If I select manual or disable, what it is going to, the DRS cluster feature is not going to touch that VM. It is going to check other VMs. What DRS is going to do, if you select fully automated out of available VMs, it can choose any VM to migrate. But if you select individual VM, if I choose as a disable or manual, it is not going to check the DRS cluster feature is not going to check that VM. It may check other VMs to migrate. This is why I can restrict at VMs level as well. Okay, at cluster level, I can choose manual, partial automated, fully automated. The same cluster feature, it's available on respective VM wise also. I can choose manual, disable, and everything. If you leave default, the default cluster setting is going to come with here. What is the default cluster setting? I choose the default manual. So go to again vSphere DRS selection. Because I selected in DRS fully automated or manual, vSphere DRS. Here I selected manual. Change to fully automated. Now come back to the virtual machine option. See, everything is defaultly fully automated. I can change. That is a cluster default setting. I can change individual VM also setting also. Okay, this is virtual machine DRS setting and cluster view. Come to power management. This generally should be in off state. When we are going to configure automatic in a sense, if the load is very low on the cluster, it is not utilizing the resources at all. What is this power management is going to do is, It will identify which is the best candidate to power up the ESXi host to save the power. Okay. To enable this feature, that ESXi host should be wake on LAN configuration. Wake on LAN in the sense, whenever this requirement comes in picture, it sends a signal to that ESXi hardware, wake on LAN. This is a one feature on a network card on management interface. It sends a signal to that network card so that it can bring back the server online. The system itself it will power on. This DRS setting itself it will power on. By default, it will be off state. As per your requirement, if the load is very low, then generally in any production environment, ESXi host is not going to run without any resources. Okay, there will be resources. There won't be any idle systems available. Okay, no concept comes in power management because to configure HF feature itself, I need at least one standby host. So there is the concept of powering off the resources. Okay, so power management the option is available. You can choose as per organization requirement. Okay, come back to the DRS group manager and rules. Select rules. In this rules configuration, click on add. There are different rules are available. What is the rules? DRS group manager. I can create a group manager. I can choose the virtual machine to power on. There are different type. What is the type? Select drop down type. These rules we call it as a affinity and anti-affinity rule. For example, okay. For example, there are two VMs are running, web server 1 and web server 2. If the both are running on same ESXi host, what will happen if that ESXi host down, my web server is going down. Currently, web server 1 and web server 2 acting as a load balancing servers and web application level. If the both servers are running on the same ESXi host, if that ESXi host had an issue, if that is down, both web servers are going to restart. I need to avoid that. What I do? I can create an anti-affinity rule. Separate virtual machines. Select separate virtual machines. So what it is the anti-affinity? By choosing that, if I select web server 1 and web server 2 VMs, I can add here. Click on add. I can choose desktop 1, desktop 3 is my web servers. Select desktop 1 and desktop 3. For example, if these two VMs, what I'm going to do, desktop 1 and desktop 3 should not run on same ESXi host. So that I'm going to creating an anti-affinity rule. So that what will happen, these two VMs are not going to run on same ESXi host. So that I'm going to manage that is some fault tolerance at the ESXi host level as well for this respective application. Both VMs, both web servers are not going down at a given time. Okay, one ESXi host down also, the other web server is running on another ESXi host, due to which my application is there is no interruption. Okay, like this is an anti-affinity rule. Click cancel. Drop down, type virtual machines together. Keep virtual machines together. This option is going to design affinity rule. Affinity rule in the sense, both virtual machines I need to decide. Some applications will be there is a dependency. DB server and web server. Both should run on same host. Because one host is down, that doesn't make. If I create a DB server on one host and web server is on another host, if one host is down, my application is not going to work. So some application servers are there. We need to design in such a